right. Good morning, everyone. It is Saturday, October 26th, about 6:25 a.m. Just finished my first route. Had to go to the Lower East Side. Today, well, like I always tell y'all, they always do the most on the weekend. So, they primed me up yesterday by like really not allowing me to sleep much at all yesterday. And it's because they adjusted to something that I tried doing and I felt like it was effective. Right. I felt like it was, sorry, I didn't even mean to do that with the phone. But I felt like it was effective until they started to possibly adjust maybe the routes or the flow of the energy, or where it can bend from or reflect from. So last couple of days I've actually tried grounding using the building, really. So here's what I did, right? I like I always do every night, I basically take out the fuses for the apartment so that there's no flowing electricity, and possibly, well, not possibly, it definitely is a reduction in dirty electricity, at least from our apartment. We live in an apartment building, tenants above us and below us. Then we have apartments across from us. So we're still being hit with directed energy from all the other electromagnetic fields that are around us, whether it's from someone's air conditioner in their window across from us, or it could be someone could have like a deep freezer or a stereo or something, some large appliance plugged up in their apartment, either above, next to, or below us, and they can take the energy from those fields and transfer that energy into our wireless body area network, or into our node. And all the nanobots, all these biosensors that are embedded in our tissues, they basically take all this energy and they convert it into electrical impulses, which are used to either overstimulate, well, most of the time it's to overstimulate the nerves or the cells in our bodies. And more times than likely, for us being targeted, and those who don't know that they're targets and they're being manipulated, it can be used to either destroy the cells completely, or it can be used just to kind of render it like kind of like incapacitate the cells, or to like tranquilize the cells or something like that. So then it won't necessarily be completely damaged, because cells can eventually heal, or some cells die and then some new ones grow back. But what they could do, they could control the functions of cells using directed energy. Now, what we have started doing, because I watched a couple of videos about how to properly use an anti-static wristband. I don't know if you remember, but it was a few months ago. I was recording videos about using anti-static bracelets. Using anti-static bracelets to help with grounding. But the problem I had the problem I had with using the bracelets was I don't think I fully understood where I should clip it to so that I can ground properly. So I watched this video, watched a couple of videos. One was about using electromagnetic interference filters. One good company that I've seen through a couple of videos is GreenWave. Basically, it's a filter that you plug into your wall, and the filter, I guess it basically like absorbs whatever dirty electricity may be flowing in the environment. I don't remember what the price was for it, but that dirty electricity that helps with that helps them, those who are targeting us, that helps them to be able to bend and move energy waves in different directions, and to help with the waves to be able to travel through space without losing power. All that dirty electricity, the way that they are pumping extra energy into our appliances or any device that has its own energy field, they basically are forcing it to pump out more radiation, so then it creates dirty electricity. And then as they're directing these, steering these energy waves through satellite and telecommunications thing, or like cell towers and whatnot, I'm finding that the dirty electricity can be filtered out a little bit. But so yeah, grounding, right? So in the video, it showed that it was mostly dealing with people who are handling computers, people who are upgrading their computer hardware, stuff like that. And one thing they said was what you can do by accident is, if your body has too much charge to it, you could actually when you are touching the things in your computer, like the motherboard and all that stuff, you could actually short circuit the hardware. And I said, I keep wondering to myself too, I'm like, how much energy could these nanobots, these biosensors actually absorb before they actually become rendered useless or destroyed in some way? And apparently ultraviolet is one way of doing it, but it's not, I don't think it's that, I don't think it'll be that much useful if I was to say, oh, go just get you an ultraviolet light and stand in the ultraviolet light for a while. Can't do that for too long, because too much ultraviolet light is still radiation, and too much of it can still be bad for you. But I started to think more about started thinking more esoteric, more along the lines of visualization. And I remembered that, every cell in your body, I'm gonna go back to the whole grounding thing, but every cell in your body is like a rainbow. Like every energy field, every cell in your body has an energy field, and each one of those energy fields can produce a color, right? Because energy comes in various colors, various frequencies, right? So then I started visualizing, what if I was to imagine my body to just radiate the color violet or ultraviolet, right? And then I started practicing doing it, and as I was practicing that, I started to notice a lot of tension relief starting at the brain, but the main focal point of the brain, the prefrontal cortex, right? And as I continue to push myself to visualize harder and harder, and just really imagine myself becoming like this, like my whole entire body is just bright of ultraviolet light just radiating from every part of my body, right? And then it's almost like I could feel like the nanobots. I could almost feel like the biosensors kind of like, because remember, it's not just only sending signals to them, but it's also recording and capturing our electrical activity. So if we were to actually control with our own mind and our own energy body to, well, produce a higher frequency or more electrical activity naturally, could we actually short circuit the biosensors? Because I mean, honestly, I think think about it like this: coronal mass ejections, once they reach Earth, and depending on how depending on how powerful or how much there are, they literally can short circuit everything, everything that has conductivity to it can be short circuited by these coronal mass ejections, because it's literally radiation being absorbed into conductive things, whether it's people or it's electrical wiring. And one video is like, during a coronal mass ejection event, anyone who's flying in a plane at the time of that coronal mass ejection, they're getting probably like this insane lifetime supply of, like, not lifetime, but almost like a lifetime of radiation just dropped right into their body. Not even dropped into their body, passing through their body for a short period of time, right? And then once they get down to the ground, they're probably going to need to do one of those radiation detox baths like I do, with the sea salt and baking soda. Throw some borax in there too. But anyway, so with the grounding, right? So I took all the fuses out, and then what I did was I had to plug something into the wall. Oh, right. So in the video, he says that he kept his CPU still plugged into the wall, but he flipped the power switch so that no electricity was flowing through it. Then he also and I'm pretty sure he didn't turn off the electricity in his home or his work area. So I just turn off mine because I'm being radiated with the energy from my own apartment. But anyway, so he hold on, I'm gonna come back. All right, so where was I? Right, grounding. So in the video, he left his CPU plugged up, and then I don't know if I think he had it plugged up. I don't know. But anyway, he clipped his static, the alligator clamp side of it. He clipped it to the metal part of the CPU, or basically the container. And he said through that you're going to be grounding you're going to be grounding yourself you're going to be grounded, right? So it has to be plugged up because the electrical wiring of your building is grounded into the earth. So he made sure he had the power switch on so that no electricity was flowing into the CPU, but he clipped his anti-static bracelet to any metal part of the CPU, because it's plugged up. It's grounding any static buildup that he has in his body into the CPU, which then flows into the circuitry of the building, which then flows into the earth. So I did like a variation of that. First I tried myself one night, and it was definitely a lot. It was a good relief. It was a good relief, but then of course they adjust. I realized I can't myself just be grounded. My girlfriend, who was sleeping next to me, she had to be grounded too. So the next night I had another strap. So what I did was I did the same thing. I didn't have a CPU, so what I did, I used something. It was kind of like a charger of a sort for her vacuum, and I had plugged it in, and of course, I took the fuses out so that there's no electricity in the apartment. I plugged it in, and there were like these metal kind of like prongs that were sticking out, and I just clipped my anti-static bracelet to those little metal prongs, and both of us was actually feeling a good deal of relief for a while. Even this morning, I feel like we were still feeling a good deal of relief through this grounding technique. Now the problem is, even if you're grounding, you still have to find all of the different sources of devices that may have transducers inside of them, or capacitors, or anything that has a charge still in it, or anything that basically has its own electromagnetic field, or a component to the device that can convert one form of energy into another form of energy. And crazy thing is, this morning someone just started lighting fireworks at 2 a.m. and that kind of pissed me off, because I was like, damn, I only had 30 more minutes before my alarm goes off. And I kind of just like fell asleep too. I was so tired after work yesterday. I had a rough day, especially dealing with the psyops, the emotional tunings, and them overstimulating the cells and tissues of my back. So then at one point, I was rushing to do a route, and I flipped my trailer over, man. but I got the light. I was like, he was driving fast. But anyway, I found like we definitely were getting some relief, but then eventually I realized that the remote control to and I have a smart TV, but the remote control, I did not put it, well, neither one of us remembered to put it inside of our Faraday box. And when I woke up this morning, I found this beam, this energy wave coming from the remote, and it was like it was basically connected right into my prefrontal cortex, just blasting away like but it's just going straight into the prefrontal cortex. Serious vibrations, but God has blessed me to still be here this morning, and I'm still cognizant, and I can still, I'm still functioning for now. Because I always say for now, because I'm not indestructible or anything. I don't have no real I have no real defense against this, only when God decides that it's time for me to go or whatever. But other than that, that's all I got. So I'm here. Let me finish this real quick. So yeah. But I'm doing all right though. I'm right now my voice they have some energy going on my throat, so it's like messing with my voice. Then it's like they got some energy going into like I don't know, like my gums, like right on the left side of my face, like on the bottom, you know, on the left side of my mandible, right, the left side of my jaw, just under my molars. They got a lot of energy on there, and I think they're trying to like create like a tumor or something right under my molar. And it's interestingly enough, that particular space, that particular area where they're attacking, I know that's probably from time using, let me just park over here. That's probably from time of me wearing headphones that have magnets in them. So because the magnet produces a magnetic field, all you have to do is use the electricity coming from the phone to create an electromagnetic field, and then beam form from that, and then direct that energy right into the soft tissue or wherever. Like if I'm wearing headphones here, all they gotta do is make sure that there's a strong electromagnetic field coming from the headphone, and then take a beam, and then they could just basically trail it along here and then stimulate right into here. Matter of fact, there's a pulse right here, this exact spot, and as I'm touching it, I can feel the warmth of an energy wave hitting the back of my hand. You shouldn't have a pulse here, not where your tooth is, not where like the bone structure is. You shouldn't have a pulse right here. Your pulse should be down here, not here. So anyway, this is them just basically trying to retaliate, because they're like, oh, you don't realize you getting in trouble with secret society. You don't realize you're about to die. Everybody waiting for you to go to prison. You spreading diseases around. Oh, and as I say that, right? Mind you, I've already done enough research to learn that with all the insurmountable number of biosensors and nanobots that's flowing in our air every day, these things can carry and contain things. They can carry and contain things. But even if we were to just move from the whole aspect of if they can carry, well, we already know they can carry medicine that can be delivered directly into the bloodstream or directly into sites where they would want. If they can deliver medicine using these bots, imagine what else they can deliver directly into your system. And this thought crossed my mind too. Some TIs mentioned a lot about how like they tend to cough around you. Like it always seemed like they were just fine, then all of a sudden when they get around you, all of a sudden they got a cough. My theory is that I think they are coughing so that, because there's this flow of energy that you don't see, there's this energy flow and this wave of probably particles carrying stuff in the air. All they have to do is cough. If they have something, they just cough into that path, and that path basically gets carried like a vacuum in space. It gets carried and then it's directed right into you. Some of you might have actually felt like tingling in your, like a tingling feeling or something in your nose. That's a frequency. A lot of times, I'm realizing this now, that a lot of times we think that we may be inhaling pollen or something like that. Something's making us sneeze or whatever. If you pay attention to things that you may be doing at certain times, and then you feel this gradual buildup, I bet you if you start to feel a sneeze come, just pinch. The moment you feel a sneeze start building up, or something like trying to build up in your nostrils, pinch right in front of your nose and pay attention to what you feel inside your head. If you pinch in front of your nose and pay attention to what you feel, like right now, just as I pinched, there is actually a wave. There's energy coming from, I have my phone, my portable charger, charging my phone too. There's an energy wave hitting like right here. It's hitting there and it's going looping right into my right nostril. Let me drop this over real quick. But, damn, I don't even remember what I was talking about. But anyway, so yeah, the grounding, it worked for a time period, but then eventually, it worked for a time, but then eventually it kind of, they adjusted. They adjusted and they rerouted some energy and figured out some other places where they can hit us from. But yeah, oh right, the coughing, right? So, coughing, I realized they probably can transfer energy or transfer probably bacteria, whatever, from someone else, have it carried through like a electromagnetic wave that you can't see, but that wave is resonating with your body, and they can transfer that bacteria into you. But that's just theoretical. But we do know this though, with the electromagnetic fields that are sustaining these things to be able to sit in midair until they are steered with electromagnetic waves from whether it's satellites or cell towers or LED light bulbs or whatever to move wherever they tell the bots to go. That's one way that they're doing these things. Hold on, you're messing with my memory, so my train of thought is kind of like fading away. Yeah, because they're right now they're building up the intensity of a wave that's connected to my prefrontal cortex, and let me remind you all that the reason why it's so important that you understand what the prefrontal cortex is. The prefrontal cortex is like one of the key important parts of your brain that deals with communication, thought process, literally even how to speak. There's so many different functions to the prefrontal cortex, and that's one of the target areas of this technology. And it's definitely to a target area that's easier to, once you connect to this part of the brain, you can basically branch out to other parts of the body through the neural connections. Hold on. Okay, so what else? Trying to see what else was there. Grounding, the cough. So this is non-target related. I just thought about it again. So this morning, right, the 5 to 7 a.m. window, I had a delivery that I don't even know how many miles I could say that is from the base, but yeah, I don't know. It's I don't know how many miles. It's far, but anyway, on a bike it's far. I'll say this: on this bike, it takes at least like 20, almost like 20 minutes to get to that place, right? But anyway, might be shorter. I don't know. Less than 20 minutes on these bikes, especially if you're carrying weight and everything. So I get to the building, and The intercom is broken. The bell doesn't work. So I call the customer, right? I call the customer, and it's like 6:20 a.m., right? That means for between 5 to 7, the window is about to close in 40 minutes, right? Now, the V2K does a wonderful job at trying to, these four individuals, they do a wonderful job at trying to make me feel guilty about every little thing that happens or every little thought that crossed my mind, including the ones that they inject into my memory, including those thoughts that they inject in there. They do a wonderful job at trying to get me to focus on the negatives, especially with their lingual programming and steering of my thought processing. But anyway, so I call a customer, right? And my pet peeve is when I go to deliver to someone, right? And I go to deliver to someone, and it's early in the morning. You know, I'm out here biking it. I think most of the time they know that we're on bikes. And I get there, and I'm like, okay, if the intercom is broke, fine. I'm used to that. But don't, like, I done called somebody, right? I've called customers, and then they would hang up the phone. I'm like, what? I'm like, but you ordered this delivery for this time, though. Why? You know, you ordered this delivery for this time. And let me see, I think it was 46. And I'm like, you ordered this delivery for this time. And then there's sometimes they don't answer at all. So it's like you biked all this way to bring this person their stuff. They're not answering, and then they got the nerve to hang up on you. Now get this one. This morning, I get the customer on the phone. I'm like, okay. So I'm like, yes, I can't gain access to the building, and the intercom is broken. And she sounded like she was still asleep. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, even if you were still asleep, you gonna come open the door? She's like, it's too early. I'm like, but you placed the order for 5 to 7 a.m. What you mean it's too early? And it's 6:20 a.m. What you mean it's too early? She's like, yeah, it's too early. Can you come back later? I'm like, look, if you want, I could cancel the order for you. So she says, yes, just cancel the order. I'm sorry. I'm like, but yo, I'm already here. Like, just come downstairs and open the door, right? And then in my mind, I'm thinking to myself, okay, maybe she could have been like disabled or something, and maybe she could have like had someone. I don't know. My thing is, it's like, I feel like my energy is wasted, and you know I'm being targeted too. So it's like I got them zapping away at my energy, and then you know this job is physically demanding. So it's like, even though I'm working out and I'm trying to work out muscles and build up stamina and whatnot, it's still draining, right? And then including everything else, every other energetic facet of my life is being drained by these people. Where is it? 34. Oh, gotta go up a little bit further. But yeah, so I just feel like, I'm like, yo, that's mad disrespectful to my energy. And then I'm like, yo, you don't even want to at least come downstairs and open the door. So yeah, there's definitely some things to this job that I have to laugh at sometimes. Yeah. Yeah. Hold on. So yeah. Now, yeah, they do a wonderful job with me when it comes to running psyops and trying to get me to, well, focus on a lot of negative things and induce fear into me, especially when it comes to people around me. Now, mind you, I mean, well, those of us who are aware of what's happening and are targeted, we are aware that, oh, wait, no, I do want to go. No, wait. We are aware that we're dealing with a technological coup on the human existence. And it's basically by a small percentage of people who probably identify themselves as transhumanists, and they are fully augmented and integrated in brain cloud interfacing and other means of, well, communications, all through electromagnetic waves, whether through light and sound. And they have made it they've made I can't even speak right now. I don't know, sometimes it just be so much that you want to say, and then when you want to say it, well, you know, then again, I could always attribute that to the remote neural monitoring, because if they basically are shooting away or stimulating away at different, you know, nerves and neurons as I'm trying to formulate sentences and keep train of thought and recall memory all at the same time. And all they got to do is just keep stimulating the memory cortex, like what they're doing right now. The pressure building up on the right side of my head where my memory cortex is similar to, like, if someone were to take, like, if someone took like a pool stick. It's not like a burning, but it's like pressure. So it's like if someone took a pool stick, the end of a pool stick, and they just put one end of the pool stick on the side of your head and then just pressed on it, gradually building up pressure on the side of your head. They just kept pressing on the pool stick. And it feels like the stick is trying to go through your head, right? But it really doesn't. But they can control this. They can control just how much intensity they apply to it. But anyway, yeah. So, damn, I should have stayed on that side. Should have stayed on that side. I was trying to go around the truck. But anyway, they normally be moving. They normally be like flying down the street. They must be chilling right now. But anyway, yeah, so right now, like I said, they got all this pressure built up on my memory cortex, so can't even recall some of the stuff I wanted to talk about at the moment. If anything, I'll focus on the PSYOPs. Their favorite thing to say is your supervisor, your supervisor, your supervisor, your supervisor. This is what they love saying, your supervisor. Now, mind you, I already know, thanks to like people like Still Standing and or I can't even recall other TIs that I watch. But thanks to some of these people, I learned that you do not react. You acknowledge, but you don't react. You stand back and let God handle the rest, because you know they waiting on you to accuse someone. They're waiting on you to basically cause harm to someone. They're waiting on you to do the things that they probably been doing their lives, and then all of a sudden now they got an opportunity to no longer have to do it physically. They'll just do it, you know, through a quantum entanglement based technology, you know. And it's funny because I thought about it, you know, everyone's talking about, oh, the Epstein client list and the Diddy list. I'm like, everybody waiting for these lists. You need the servers. I'm like, what you could find on the servers that they are basically storing everyone's data on. And I like to remind the people who are observing me, I like to remind them that everything that they do, everything that they think, even if it's just only through the quantum digital realm, it's all recorded. Everything they're doing and thinking and saying is all recorded. I'm like, they figure blockchain is going to secure them and everything. Not really, because the technology they're using is basically owned by the very same people who probably funded these Epstein accounts and these Diddy parties and whatnot. But I'm not even trying to talk about all that. So, and but there's probably, they're right now, they're mad. They're like, he's talking so much shit right now. And it's like, well, you're doing so much to me though. You're doing so much to my life, my livelihood. And then they're like, you're not supposed to say nothing. It's like, yo, in my mind, I'm thinking, I could have sworn growing up in New York City, if someone do something to you, you're supposed to do something back to them if you could. But how am I supposed to do something back to someone that's not standing physically in front of me? But yet they're using a quantum technology, a quantum-like technology that can basically allow someone to touch me while I'm in one place and they're in a whole totally different place. This is what I'm talking about, right? This is what I'm talking about. Now they want to talk about all this stuff like, your supervisor. They're like, your supervisor this, your supervisor that. Then what they're trying to do is they're trying to play at my they're trying to actually see if they can mess with my ego and say that all these different people want to do stuff to my girlfriend, and all these different people are doing stuff to my mother and my sister, your whole family, everyone's doing stuff to them. And I'm like, I just keep reminding myself, this is one thing I keep reminding myself, everything they do is recorded. I just keep reminding myself, and I'm like, God, keep feeding me, because I know everything they do is recorded. Because they're not going to delete that data from the servers. Everything that they do is going to stay on them servers. Nothing that they do is going to be deleted. They're not, the people above, those who are truly targeting, those who are targeting us on a daily, they're not going to delete that data. They will they will burn the whole world down before they delete that data. So always keep in mind, everything that they're doing to you is recorded on a server somewhere. Whether it's a cloud server or it's some server somewhere in a fusion center all over the world, whatever. But I'm trying my best to just learn as much as I can. And I thank God that, my mom keeps trying to push me to stay in church, because I at least like the church that I'm going to now. And I'm not religious, I'm spiritualist. So I'm definitely not perfect. I don't call myself a saint. I don't, oh man, this is going to be a walk-up. Apartment 17. I don't try to make myself seem like I'm better than anyone. And that's one thing that they like to do, is they like to say, Chris think he better than somebody. Chris think he better than people. And I'm realizing they really love to play with the egos of other people, because I realize that's what they're really playing with. they're really playing with the egos of other people. They're really not doing that much to me when they say stuff like that, because I realize they like preying on people who are already suggestible. I started learning a little bit. I started watching some videos of, with this guy who's supposed to be a what's the word I'm looking for? A hypnotist, right? And suggestibility. People who are suggestible. Hold on, let me come back to that. So, yeah, that was definitely a walk up. And you know, this is something else non-target related, but it's like, damn, you know, I just walked I don't know how many pounds. They had like 9 packages, but it was like, it had to be at least maybe over 75 pounds of, you know, food or whatever. And I walked it all the way up to the 5th floor apartment. No, but I'm like, I walked it all the way up to the 5th floor, and I'm like, and I, you know what, and I commend myself, because I actually managed to like not have to pause and just kept going. And I got up there, placed him in front of the door, and I actually waited a couple of seconds just so I could catch my breath, and then get my, you know, camera ready to take a picture of the delivery in front of the door. And then what's funny, I'm like, damn, they not even at least gonna come out and say thank you, or say thank you behind the door. I'm like, yo, I just be feeling like, dang, people really don't have no like respect for other people's energy. It's like you just walk this stuff up the 5th floor for them, when rightfully so you could have left it downstairs. People would tell me that all the time. You could have just left it on the 1st floor. You didn't have to take it up. I'm like, you right. But the thing is, sometimes when I get up there, you'd be surprised who's on the other side of that door. So it's like, that's why I walk it up. Because sometimes it could be somebody who's disabled, somebody who could be elderly or whatever. But I'm just thinking to myself, I'm like, damn, they ain't even at least say thank you behind the door. But not only that, as I walked away, right? As I walked away, I'm trying to figure out what building I'm at. As I walked away, I heard them open the door and just start dragging their stuff in. And I'm just like, yo. In my head, I'm thinking, I'm like, yo, they lucky it was me. Because a lot of people would have left it right on the 1st floor. I don't see it. No. So, oh well, I guess you could say I got my exercise in for the day. Not for nothing. I mean, it was the first walk up of the day, so not complaining too much. Nope, that's not it. But yeah, the psyops and how they're using the people around me. So in us as TIs, we already know about job mobbing and how they try to, you know, manipulate your income, or even possibly even get you fired from your job and stuff like that. So they're trying to, they like to use the term supervisor, your supervisor, right? They don't never say a name, they just say your supervisor. They know his name, but they don't say his name, they say supervisor. So I use my discernment, because I also realize that there is probably a type of supervisor who is responsible for the control and functioning of this technology, right? You know, so, hold on. So they just use the term supervisor, right? So it's kind of like, it's one of those, what's the word I'm looking for? it's like if you're trying to, it's like a seed, right? Because, always when you think about it, their whole point is to get you to do something which would basically incriminate yourself. Um, so they would just say supervisor, but they wouldn't use his name. So me using my discernment, I say, okay, I'm going to be still, peace, be still. Don't react, stand back, let God handle that, right? I tell myself all the time, I'm not going to focus on people who could or could not be a part of it, because more times than likely, anybody who is a part of the secret society or who are transhumanized, they give off an energy in their field, and sometimes you can feel them direct energy at you. So it's like I don't focus on the people as much, because the people are just a small part. I'm focusing on the system. They come for my peace, I'm coming for their freedom. Their freedom to basically do whatever sins that they want and not have to face any type of laws or retribution or anything for it. But best believe everything that they do is recorded. And not only is everything that they do is recorded, I'm gonna just go this way. Not only is everything they do is recorded, but everything is having an effect, a ripple effect, or some type of I can't even find the right word for it, but it's having an effect on other balances, or the balance of energies in the universe, right? I'm not going to get too woo-woo. That's an interesting term, woo-woo. But they believe that by influencing other people to do their bidding, do the acts that they don't want to get their hands dirty with, they figure that person is going to take on the majority or the blunt force of the karma, right? So it's like, imagine the handler has, I don't know, let's say a problem with that lady right there, right? Let's say a handler has a problem with her, and he basically has access to her body, and right now she's just trying to, work her stuff out and, exercise. I don't know if she's targeted or not, but let's just say she is, right? The handler could then possibly influence someone else, right, to interact with her, and that person that they influence is already on edge, they're already susceptible, they're already this. And that was a term I wanted to get back to, susceptibility. They prey on susceptible people who are more likely to tune to almost anything that they're given, and not even have like the resistance or the ability to kind of like resist, or rather, what's the words? I guess control the interactions or the impulses from the suggestion, right? People who love getting compliments from other people are what you would call susceptible, because it's almost kind of like they need that energy, that engagement. They need someone to boost them up. So people who are susceptible are someone, who, like, if you knew a weak point of someone and you exploited it, that could make you susceptible to whatever that weak point is. Let me see. I don't know. I'm gonna end it here for now. We're gonna have to elaborate on some of this later. Take life one breath, one thought, one step, one day at a time. Peace.